Hello, I'm Juliette Sarli. In this week's edition of IG Macro Intelligence, we take a look at the retail sector in the lead up to Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales. Australians are expected to embrace the upcoming Black Friday, Cyber Monday shopping period as cost of living pressures see consumers hunt for a bargain. Roy Morgan predicts there'll be a $69.7 billion boost to retail sales in the weeks leading up to Christmas, a gain of 2.7% on 2023's figures. The latest research from Roy Morgan, commissioned by the Australian Retailers Association, tips that a record $6.7 billion of that will be spent in the 4 days from November 29 to December 2, which would be a 5.5% increase on last year's sales during the same period. On average, Australians are expected to spend $707 each in the lead up to the festive season, according to Roy Morgan, a jump of $61 on 2023's average spend. The ARA says competition for the consumer dollar is at an all-time high amid higher interest rates. Australian Retail Association CEO Paul Zara saying that consumers are looking for the best value when it comes to buying presents for their loved ones, which is why sales events like Black Friday and Cyber Monday are consistently growing in popularity. He says retailers are pulling out all the stops to ensure they have the best product lines in gift solutions, customer service offerings and enhanced online platforms to make shopping during this peak season more seamless than ever. Meanwhile, ahead of the upcoming shopping period, the latest reading on consumer sentiment is encouraging. The Westpac Melbourne Institute Consumer Sentiment Index ticked up 5.3% to a reading of 94.6 in the latest survey. The index has now risen 14.4% from its mid-year lows and is only 5.4 points below the neutral level of 100. Jason Ireland from McGrath-Nicol telling AusBiz the uplift in consumer sentiment is an encouraging sign for retailers.
Some money there, there's some dry powder. So if we look at November sales, we've already had Singles Day, we're now about to enter, I think, the click frenzy, and then we have Black Friday and Cyber Monday all through November. It's a time for retailers to actually get out there and offer these more optimistic consumers, but still value conscious. It's perfect time to have a sale.
The S&P ASX 200 Consumer Discretionary Index includes 23 listed companies on the ASX 200 classified under the Global Industry Classification Standards. Rebalanced quarterly, the constituents on the index are influenced by economic cycles encompassing services and retail. Year to date, the index is up almost 20% and it's risen 27% over the past 12 months. That compares with a near 9% year-to-date gain in the broader S&P ASX 200 index, which has risen 17.5% over the past 12 months. Retail stocks in the index include Premier Investments, JB Hi-Fi, Harvey Norman, Breville Group and Kmart owner Wesfarmers. Shares in Premier Investments have risen almost 22% year to date and more than 40% over the past 12 months. ASX TradeWatch data shows shares are in a long-term bullish pattern, while the average broker recommendation on the stock is a hold, with a price target of $34.09 according to Refinitiv. Citi analysts cite the potential for Premier shares to re-rate on a successful overseas expansion. However, analyst James Wang at Citi has cut his call on the stock to neutral from a buy, amid likelihood some investors will sell the stock as Premier distributes the proceeds of its apparel brands divestment. Now, when it comes to JB Hi-Fi, technicals also show the stock in a long-term bullish pattern. However, most analysts recommend holding the stock rather than accumulating at these levels, with the average target price, according to Refinitiv, at $73.15. That's an 18% downside from current levels. Morgan Stanley is underweight JB Hi-Fi with a $67.10 price target, preferring consumer staple stocks over the consumer discretionary space as consumers seek to save amid cost of living pressures. And finally, Kmart owner Wesfarmers shares have rallied more than 20% year to date. However, sentiment on the stock is weak. The 20-day moving average is falling as upward momentum wanes, suggesting investors are cautious at holding the stock at these levels. Citi has a sell recommendation with a $61 price target, saying Kmart unit sales are growing, but there's evidence of consumers trading down, while a slowdown in business spending is impacting Officeworks. And that is your IG Macro Intelligence for this week. We'll see you next week.